All right, so my case study is on a patient with congestive heart failure, and I'm going to be applying the health promotion theory to that and talk about how the agape model goes along with that as well. So, my case study is a 72-year-old male patient who goes by the name of Michael Davis. This will be his fourth admission this year in 2020. Every time he comes into the hospital, he has a congestive heart failure exacerbation. He's from home alone, but he does have a son and daughter that is nearby. He's compliant with his medications, but nothing else, so he doesn't go to his doctor's appointments or to the Healthy Heart Clinic that the hospital offers specifically for CHF patients. And then some other diagnoses that he has is depression. He's a pack per day smoker. He's obese. He has type 2 diabetes and hyperlipidemia. So as I said, I'm going to be talking about the health promotion theory. It was originated in 1982 by Nola Pinder. It was around the same time when people were coming into the hospital, they were seeing more chronic illness exacerbations rather than infectious diseases. So this theory aims at primary and secondary preventions, improving health behaviors, and involving not only the patient but also the family and the community. One of the goals of the health promotion theory is to decrease healthcare costs, which I think is a big thing right now for the patient as well as for the hospital. And then there's two sub-theories that go along with the health promotion theory. So the first one is the expectancy value theory, which is where people will work towards a goal if it's a value to them and if it benefits them. And then the social cognitive theory, which talks about self-efficacy, which is also another theory, but this is where a patient is confident enough to reach those goals. How the health promotion theory can be applied to Michael. We could start with primary prevention, so things Michael could have done before being diagnosed with congestive heart failure. He could have not smoked, first off, and then he also could have maintained a healthy weight, because I mentioned that he was obese or is obese. And he could do that by exercising, so just getting out, going on a walk, or joining a nearby gym, and then also maintaining a healthy diet. And with your congestive heart failure patients, the recommendation is a low salt, low cholesterol diet. Some things that Michael could do since he's been diagnosed. So these are some secondary preventions. He could go to his Healthy Hearts Clinic, which is a clinic that the hospital offers, and they can monitor the shortness of breath or swelling in legs, so they could increase the patient's diuretics, provide TED hose, provide scales, just things like that to keep the patient out of the hospital. He could go to his doctor's appointments since he's non-compliant with that, so following up with his primary care physician and his cardiologist is super important. And then also medication compliance, which he is, but that's just generally speaking for the CHF population. And then just developing a plan of action. So for Michael's case, he can involve his daughter and son more. Since they live nearby, they could maybe check up on him daily or every other days, or meal prep with them so that he's getting healthy meals that are low in salt and cholesterol. And then he could also maybe join some support groups if he's struggling with the diagnosis of congestive heart failure, since it's not curable, it's just manageable. But sometimes hearing other people's stories can help with compliance and managing your congestive heart failure. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the agape model, which is basically Christ-centered care. If you looked on the screen, there is a mnemonic that goes along with it. So A is accepts Christ as Savior. G is grow professionally and spiritually. A, anticipate supernatural intervention. P, prayer and spiritual gifts. And E, embrace the fruit of the spirits. This is just one way that one nurse can stand out from another nurse if she's using that Christ-centered care and going along with the mnemonic that I just said. How it can be applied to the case study for the A, Christ as Savior, so the nurse can accept Jesus Christ, and then that can lead the patient closer to Him. Growing professional and spiritually, so as we grow professionally, we continue education, whether that be through the hospital. Our hospital brings in a lot of healthcare representatives, so going to those. And then I think we all are continuing our education by going back to school to be FMPs. And then exhibiting Christ-like behavior. So to grow spiritually, I think we could join a Bible study or go to church every Sunday, things like that to grow spiritually. The next one is anticipate supernatural intervention. So I think we are healers and that God has led this path for us. So providing those interventions for our patients in order for them to get better is important, and it's cool to see patients get back to their baselines or be cancer free. Those things are cool to see on our side as well. Prayer and spiritual gifts. So praying with and for patients is important. At our hospital, we can consult the pastor, so he'll come in the room and he'll pray with the family and talk with the family, and I always try to be in the room when he's there. And then utilizing my spiritual gifts, which the 3 that I feel go along with the care that I provide is love, patience, and goodness. The last one is embrace the fruit of the Spirit. In the reading, it said we can do this by fulfilling the code of ethics as nurses. So I think if we're doing that as well as the things that I mentioned above, it will elevate patient satisfactions while they're in the hospital. So how the agape model can be applied to the health promotion theory. There's 3 points here. The first one is to, as I mentioned before, to pray for the patients and their families and their disease management. The next one is to encourage the patient to join a support group or an exercise class or possibly a Bible study. And then also just educating our patients about their illnesses and ways to manage it at home. A key point from all this, it was from the reading. It says the health promotion theory is designed to guide nurses in helping clients achieve improved health, enhanced functional ability, and better quality of life. One limitation is that I'm just a bedside nurse, so I'm not able to follow the patient after they're discharged from the hospital. So I think that someone needs to be there to make sure the patient is doing what they need to do. So whether it's a community nurse or the family, I think that is one limitation for me. And then a future recommendation just for hospitals or nurses to identify why patients are non-compliant before they're discharged so that we can find ways to help with those reasons rather than just judging them for being non-compliant. So my references was the agape model, the mnemonic that I used, and then the 2 readings, which is the middle range theories and the nursing as a ministry book.